Lego Man.
Some people
Lego,
afraid of the darkness,
afraid to step into the light.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always forget the third line.
Some people need to help some
Body. Is it?
I think so.
Something
Some people need to.
Don't worry, everything will be
Don't you
okay.
worry.
Because
We'll get
I will be ready.
Yeah,
I
that's
won't leave out of my sight. Dun, 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 dun.
What's happening, guys? It's St. Patrick's Day, so let's crack open a Guinness. You totally shook mine.
See, there's two very clearly different
Techniques.
approaches here. Whose will settle better? Okay, that's Ian. Why do you go for the 45-degree angle?
Just tradition. You know, who did not have a barman's job at, when they were a kid?
Me.
I was a pot boy. Then I, got promoted from pot boy
To pan.
to beer pourer. Got the old. I can draw pictures actually under the old thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I went to a barfly. Do you remember barflies?
No.
They were like a dodgy, alternative, metal-y bar thing. Oh, yeah, there's a chain of them. One was in Cardiff, and this person did a pentagram when I was there, in the Guinness, and looked at me and nodded, and I was like, oh, you absolute bellend.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah. There's a point where you take it too far.
Yeah.
It loses its cool.
Yeah.
They're settling all right. There's not much in it. I sort of think.
I think mine's better, because it's closer to me.
I know nothing about it other than the fact that it's just a good excuse for a drink no matter where you are in the world. You just claim your Irish heritage and off you go.
Well, there's a couple of good things about St. Patrick's Day. It falls in the Six Nations in the rugby, which means you get free glasses from Guinness, which is awesome. So if you buy a slab, you can get a free glass. So every year I stock up. And then Donna tells me, she goes, stop buying, don't want another glass. Just say no to the glasses. Just say no to the glasses. But we've got so many.
Never say no to the glasses.
Oh, no. We give them away. St. Patrick was Welsh.
Really?
Yep. Born in Banwyn, near the Banwyn Stone, which is...
In Banwyn,
Yeah.
do they have like a statue of him?
No, it's a crap boulder that's not even that impressive, which is St. Patrick's Stone. And I don't like St. Patrick.
So are you certain that he's from Banwyn?
100% certain I've been told that he's from Banwyn.
So why is he the patron saint of Ireland?
Because he jumped on a boat and then chased out all the local pagans or whatever, druids or anything that they were, and brought in Catholicism. Because St. David is Irish, I think. And then St. George is Greek or Maltese. St. Andrew is like
I never
the same.
realised there was such a,
Yeah.
checkered history of patron saints.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yep.
Like you're not just making up history.
I think it's true.
Imagine, like, this is the future of history, isn't it? Instead of writing books, people would just do a podcast. And so, like, you imagine someone in years to come will reference, like, Joe Rogan and be like, he said this about the coronavirus, so it must be true.
Basically,
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's a comedian called, Gary Delaney, who's a really...
The one-liner guy.
The one-liner.
Yeah.
But he does things on Wikipedia on purpose. Like, he makes it look fairly believable.
Yeah.
And then the end is really stupid. But, yeah, St. Patrick was definitely Welsh.
Interesting.
Without question.
Well, there we go. I hope you've learned something new already, because I have. I didn't know that.
Here's another one for you. Do you know if the Crows were to leave London Tower that England will be invaded?
Yeah.
Do you know where that comes from? I'm trying to think of his bloody name. is slightly.
Are you
it's
going to
a-
do? Are you
it's a
going to
Welsh
do one
Prince.
of those ones where I'll
No.
lead you down the path and then I've forgotten?
And then forgot,
No.
yeah. There's a Welsh Prince. His sister got married off to the Irish.
Right.
And when he used to get angry, he used to grow really tall. Then he went over from Wales to Ireland, grew into a big giant. The Welsh army rode over his back, fought the Irish.
Who won, the Irish or the Welsh?
The Welsh.
The Welsh won.
Yeah, the Welsh won.
Why aren't the Welsh
and
like
he
the
was
leading?
the Raven God.
Right.
He was the Raven God because the Irish, his sister got married to an Irish prince, and they basically kept her as what you used to do, basically like a pot and pan scrubber, which wasn't good, and was kind of not a good move. So then the Welsh went over, invaded,
Right.
chopped them up. There's loads in this mythology. But he was the Raven or the Crow King, and he chopped his head off and he said, "Bury me in, old London town, and if my head was to ever be removed, then our land will be invaded again." So that's where the myth of
Our land referring to England and Wales,
No,
or
the
the
whole-
whole of
yeah.
the islands,
Britain, the
Britain.
islands, whatever.
whatever it was called at the time.
Yeah,
Um,
it's in the Mabinogion. Great
Yeah?
book.
how do I say the Great Book in Welsh? What was that?
Mabinogion.
Mabinogion.
It's a group of, what is it? It's about 12 stories, 11th, 12th century. It's really good.
Do you suggest I collect that from the library this week?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
I can give you a copy.
I'll take a copy. Go on, and
Yeah.
then I'll check your Welsh history next week.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he's already had a Guinness out of it himself.
so many.
So can I just ask, in Wales somewhere,
Yeah.
is there like a bunch of rocks in the sea which they pretend was like the body of this tall guy that they all walked over the back of?
No, his head is
head.
buried underneath the Tower
So
of
that's
London.
that's the only like.
That's the only thing.
That's the
yeah.
thing.
I'm trying to think what his name was.
Could you imagine if one
really
day
annoying.
the Queen was just like, I really need to know if this head is here. Dig it up.
Dig it up.
Dig it up. Let's find it.
Right. First sip, fella.
First sip
Oh.
challenge.
You've let that.
Who?
The one sip challenge is literally the first sip of Guinness, and you have to judge it with your sip, so that when you stop drinking and put it to rest, the line under the sort of head will be between the harp and the N of the Guinness.
And the harp is the national musical instrument of Wales. There you go. Just another little thing.
Nothing is sacred. Let's go.
Can I watch him first?
No.
Oh, I knew I was too shallow.
Ah, you overdid it. I thought I was too shallow, then I took an extra one.
No.
Not bad. Let's see yours.
Oh, sorry. Have I?
You know the one rule. One second rule. Oh, I think this is a tough one. You've got different glasses here. I think Ian
Yeah.
takes the win
There.
as far as the closeness goes, but Adam takes the win for taking a real sip.
Good tiltage.
Thank you.
A real sip. I can't win.
Can't win.
Can't win. So today was supposed to be. So Michael Booth, who is one of the, if not the best paddlers out there.
I'm not laughing that you're not one of the best. It's just quite.
He's,
Yeah.
Anyway, he's the best out there. And he posted a video on Instagram last week, or the week before, of him basically, and he just made it look so simple. It was like a cool little drone shot, so a little bit up in the air, him on a beach with his board, and he just did a running beach launch start, and just made it look so simple. And so today our plan was to go to the local beach and to do that, recreate it in all our lack of Michael Booth glory. No, it would have been quite interesting. There'd have been elements of success, and I'm sure there'd been elements of failure as well. But we'll do that next week when timing and conditions allow. And then we kind of just got sidetracked with it's quite a cool little side project thing we did today. with Tourism Northern Ireland, and they sent a crew down to sort of film us doing our SUPnic, which is like a paddleboard and picnic. And basically Tourism Northern Ireland have like a swathe of experiences all across Northern Ireland which they're looking to sort of promote, and yeah, we're one of them, which is pretty cool. Like, we'll drink to that.
Yes, drink to that. Sorry.
Cheers.
Cheers. Sláinte.
Na zdrowie.
Kipist.
Pussy pussy.
Excuse me.
It's Finnish.
Pussy pussy.
Yeah.
Kipist is, I thought, was Finnish. That's what I was told in Helsinki.
No, pussy pussy.
I don't believe it.
Can we cut this out?
No, this is good. No, this is staying in.
Yeah. You are right. That is the traditional cheers. But if you are a true friend of a Finnish person, you go, pussy pussy. It means kisses kisses, which I just find even funnier than the original.
Kisses
pussy.
pussy.
Kisses. Yeah.
How do you spell that? Because I just googled it and it's not what you want to be coming up as your response.
You've just screwed your algorithm big time. Yeah. So anyway, cheers.
There we are. Cheers.
Yeah. And yeah, so we shot that today, which was...
Yeah.
We got really lucky with the conditions, actually, in terms of timing. Like, the wind really picked up towards the end.
Time, yeah.
But fortunately, by then, we'd sort of done all the on-water shots.
Yeah, the sun was out.
Sun was out, which was ridiculous. It was hot. Like, I was wearing and then, like, I had a continuity problem because I started with, like, a little woolly hat on, and then, like, halfway through, I'm absolutely roasting because the sun was out and it was glorious, and but I couldn't take it off because just would have ruined the shoot. Continuity,
just couldn't.
Yeah, it's continuity. Shouldn't that be on that side? So no, that was really cool. I enjoyed doing that.
Yeah, the wind was quite. That was really interesting actually, because like the cast of the shoot. Yeah. Like at the beginning, we were getting blown out of the harbour, and it didn't take long. But and what was it? 20 minutes on the water before it started going on.
But you really felt like the whole movement of that process in the wind changing direction, because it was very light anyway to start with, but it was blowing in, and then you just felt it ease, and then it just stopped, and then you very slowly you started feeling the breeze just pushing the other way, and it was literally like that was pretty cool. But that totally confused them, which
I was
but that was cool. That must be like a tough gig, because they're literally, and especially now, like amplified for those like actors,
right?
Because like basically they all arrived in a bus. Like ultimately, we're in the time of COVID still, blah blah blah, and they're all doing. I thought they were really good with their. We were outdoors, we were socially distanced, all the permissions and everything we'd sorted. Everybody had been COVID tested, like whatever.
How was your test?
Before. The test was fine. Like I didn't. Someone said to me the morning that I got the test, "Oh, you're getting one, are you? How does that?" And I was like, "Should I be concerned?" And it was fine. I don't get what the big problem was.
Well, you're probably more used to it, but no.
Go on, go there.
No. I was going to lead it somewhere, and I'm not. I'm trying to behave. I'm not going to lead
Trying to behave. We bumped into two people earlier on, and we were just chatting, and like you definitely you are the innuendo guy.
It's insane. I was telling Donna on the way home about it, and it's just we can this is just going to be more difficult for you to edit, but basically it's really difficult not to have any form of innuendo when talking about, when someone says, "Oh, look at the size of that," and then on about my board, and then I said completely innocently, "It looks bigger in a bag."
It was not innocent. There was no innocence in it at all.
You just can't help it. And then you kind of want to say, because, you should try it out sometime. Doesn't
pop on. Yeah. You said, "Oh, it's a hard board."
Yeah.
It's never ending.
So you don't need to pump it up. And then she went, oh no, it's always hard. And you just go and come on.
You can't, you can't escape the injury. Like my favourite one, and I still do it, like even when you're instructing, you're trying to tell people where to place their hands on the paddle shaft, and I end up consciously calling it the paddle shaft because the amount of times I go slide your hand along the shaft and people just start wetting themselves. You know, we're all this like 9-year-old kids inside of us, basically, aren't we?
Speaking of which,
go.
Did your boys like the book?
Yes. So. What basically? Anyway,
Pooh New. It's called. The book is called Pooh New.
Pooh New.
Yeah.
And basically, I was taking the kids out the other day, and we had to grab something off Adam, so we collected that. And as we did that, Adam sort of stuck his head into the van and went, "There you go, boys. You'll enjoy reading that." And it was a Pooh book. Now, my kids are 2 boys are 9 and 7.
See, I knew 9.
And let's just say that's top of the book list. Like the other one,
top of the pile.
The other one had just started reading Harry Potter. Like, how many years I've been waiting for him to pick up Harry Potter books so that I can learn all this stuff that the rest of the world seems to know. And you know, he's like 3 chapters in, and he's gets handed a Pooh book instead. He's like, "Sorry, Dad, reading about Pooh today."
Yeah. I think there was a note in the book. It's from my fairy godmother, Katie, my FGM.
Your fairy godmother?
Yeah, I always call her my fairy godmother.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, Katie. And it's like, I looked at it and I was expecting it to be for, 1994. And it was 2016. I love it. Well, it's a great book. And
It's a good book.
Someone got me the Bristol stool chart as a birthday card as well. Have you seen that? It's like all the descriptions of all the forms of...
Because we're so good at digressing, let's just carry on with digressing. So Bristol stool chart, yes, I do remember that, because when my wife was...
That's the title. That's what this episode's called. Bristol.
When my wife was... She was doing her PhD. She's very, talk to her. What? No, she's...
there in the room.
But when she was doing that, a friend of hers was running a study. But basically, they were looking for like people to volunteer, because basically you had to collect a sample every so often and submit that, and that was all part of the processing. And so we were given a Bristol stool chart to sort of self-analyse and to all of that. But basically, you got paid for doing this, and we were studying young. Just cash was, we're at that stage of life where if someone says, "I'll pay you to do a poo," you go, "Yeah, go for it."
Is that just after the stage of take your clothes off?
Yeah, it was. It was about 2 years later.
Amazing.
Doesn't everyone go through that stage? No. So, but basically, with the cash, we brought these like brand new like his and hers bikes. It was very sad. So they were called out. Wait. So they were called. They were called out bikes.
Fetus boy.
That's amazing. Wait a minute.
We've still got them.
How many did you go? Like to have the cash to
I
buy you a couple of bikes?
I'm not kidding. It was well paid. It was
really.
Yeah.
Was it by the load or the sample? So the load. Was it per sample?
Dan's is the person to ask. She'll record this because she'd have been interested in the actual science. I was just like, give me the cash, here's my poo.
So was it both of your stools?
Yeah, we both. Yeah. So like they were just looking for volunteers. So we both did it, and that's how we got a bike each.
What's the story that you kind of... Well, you didn't tell me anything, but you said remind me about Dan getting arrested.
Oh, no. So, well, that was just... So a lot of people would say to me, like, did you ever get Danielle back for the whole Ian Wright naturist stuff?
Yeah.
And I never sort of like purposefully, but there was this one time where I'd just been like travelling across Russia for like 8 months or so. I'd been quite badly mugged and beaten in the middle of a place called Irkutsk, which is like the middle of nowhere in Siberia. And so I was like visibly, I'd been done in. And so
I'm trying not to smile and laugh. I don't know.
it's fine. And we didn't basically if you're out in Russia, basically if you're bruised and look like you've been in a fight, basically people would just start another fight with you. So I was like, I need to get out of here and just go and stay with some mates and chill out. So I like quickly got to Moscow and stayed with a friend. Basically everywhere you go in Russia, whenever you're there, like if you stay at a hotel or anything, you would get your passport stamped, your visa stamped, and it would basically say from these dates you were here. And if you're staying like not in a hotel or something, you should go to a local police station and register that you're staying at whatever address, and they'll stamp it and blah blah blah. Anyway, I went and stayed with my mate Mark in Moscow. Didn't go to the local police station and get that stamped. So then like 2 weeks later, Danielle was coming out to visit me. And so collected her from the airport, went to I booked this really nice hotel in the centre of Moscow, making it's lovely, I haven't seen you for ages, it'd be great, blah blah blah. We get to the hotel and this the lady at the reception, was like, passports, like, yeah, there you go. And she sort of started looking at mine a bit funny and was like, where have you been for the past 3 weeks? I was like, I've just been staying at her house. I was like, oh, sorry, I completely forgot to do the whole police stamp thing. Do you mind just stamping? I'll give you. And it, to be fair, it was fairly commonplace to just sort of go, would you mind just stamping it for the past few weeks and I'll give you a couple of quid or something? Like, it's,
bribery.
Yeah, corruption.
Basically.
Corruption greases the wheel out there, as it were, a little bit. So, that was a sort of fairly standard practice. But she just decided at that point, no. And really? Called the police. The police came and took us out of this hotel. So Danielle's been in the country, which to a lot of people would be an intimidating place anyway. But I love the place. I think it's awesome. But I can see why some people find it intimidating. Anyway, she's been there half hour and literally arrived at the airport, gone to a hotel, and she's now being taken in a police car to a local police station. We get to this station. It's just dirty and grisly, everything you expect of just a dingy back of beyond Moscow police thing. And we go in and basically we're sort of chatting to the two police officers, and I'm sort of there trying to speak in Russian to them and just sort of understand what can be done and blah blah blah. And Danielle doesn't understand anything that's going on, so it's just like, Ian, what the are we doing here? What's going on? Can you explain to me? And basically, I'd sort of worked out that around $40 was going to see this problem disappear. So, so we had a little chat with the guys, and then I was like, just before I give you the $40, and again, we're saying this in Russian. I was like, is there any chance you could put my girlfriend in behind the bars there?
Did you?
And just sort of lock the door just so as I can get a picture. And they were like, oh, yeah, of course, my friend, And then, so they put Danielle in this prison cell, shut the door. She is screaming.
Oh, really?
And just get away, what's going on? Oh, it's fine, Dan, don't worry, we'll sort it, we'll work something out. And then, yeah, we sort of sorted out the $40 and they let her out and we carried on. So, yeah, but
were you tempted
all within
to
an
leave
hour of her arriving. And I think from that point on, I'd sort of lost the battle of me trying to get her to Russia.
How long did she stay in the cell?
Oh, minutes.
Were you tempted just to go, can I leave her for
Yeah. You're doing overnight.
I would. At least
Can
an
you
hour.
imagine?
At least an hour. Do you know what I mean? Go to the pub. Come back.
Beaten up again.
You're in Moscow. The place is the pub. There's
That's so funny.
Yeah, so that was my comeback, I suppose, for the old righty. But yeah, I don't know where to go after that.
Well, I tell you what,
it's been a long day.
It's been a really long day.
It's been a long day. This is.
I'm kind of more interested but this is just me personally, finding out more about you and Russia, and kind of not what you used to do, because we've spoken about it before a little bit, but kind of like how you left that kind of lifestyle to go into kind of this lifestyle. It may not be the right time to do a podcast or anything, but it's just really interesting because
I don't know if it's really interesting, but I'll tell you, it's not. It's like I fairly openly joke about it. It's essentially a midlife correction, we call it, rather than a midlife crisis. And it's
title of another self-help book.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
Midlife correction.
Yeah, I think the world has got enough of those books. They definitely don't need one from me. It was nothing. To be honest, the reality of it was I was in a job where, like, for the preceding number of years, business was good in the sense of, so I worked in like private banks sort of, and you sort of helped Russians invest in the UK and just help them manage their life and all of that sort of stuff. And then I worked for a couple of private families, and it was, I suppose to look back, it was probably a random job, but it was just so totally normal to me. But
it's a hell of a difference between that kind of thing, because this is what we were saying before. It's like when me and Donna were in London, and she's an architect, and we used to say, well, especially when we were in St Albans, notice it more in St Albans, going all the like what we used to call all the grey people, and all the commuters and everything, and that lifestyle, about working in the city, in that bloody place. And then from what you're doing now, which is on the courses in beautiful, whatever, Ballybados is called.
Ballyharmers. I can't believe
I haven't
got that yet.
Ballybados is better. I think it's Barrybados, which is Barry, South Wales.
Ballyharmers.
But yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like that's a big departure from you being wearing a shirt and tie all the time.
I still quite like it,
That's nice. Linen, that looks.
Yeah, you've got to throw the linen shirt on.
Yeah.
I think. I don't really know what to say. There's a combination of things that happened. I think basically, we'd had baby number 2. Baby number 3 was then fairly soon on the way, and sort of in and around there, I was travelling a lot with work. And I just sort of like it. We've just got to that stage where I was questioning, like, what's the point in having kids? Like, for both of us, like Dan's had a really great job in London, but we're outsourcing the whole parenting part of our life, and it was like, well, we've kind of had kids to be their parents, so like, how do we sort of change stuff around? And to be fair, like, Dan's was she's from here originally. Like, I'd always, like, the amount of times we'd come over and like see her family, and I'd just be like, this, like, why would we not live here? This is just so.
And is she from?
She's from Bangor.
From Bangor.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and I think it just got to the point where, certainly for me, like, there'd been a few things changed at work, which I think facilitated as well, and that was just purely Putin decided I'll have a bit of Crimea, and when that happened, it kind of changed the game that I was in. So because it just shut down everything that we did as normal business, a bit like Brexit is doing to a lot of people now, or COVID. But it really was like Putin doing that was like, shut shop. And then so I sort of dallied for a little while, like trying to do basically the same job but for more like European and UK clients, but
boring.
It just didn't like. The reason I did that job, and I loved that job, and I probably wasn't even any good at it, but like the reason I was perceived, or people thought I was good at it, was because I loved the whole Russia element. I loved helping the Russian clients. Like, I got so much from just speaking in Russian with someone, finding out about them, them telling me that they're from wherever in Russia, and I've been, oh yeah, I've been there, that's really cool, and I've been doing this, and they're like, what? And like, so like it was always a real novelty for them that there was like this random English guy that could speak Russian,
an icebreaker,
cared like about and I think that's like so I think I just sort of enjoyed the helping stuff which is probably why I wasn't a very good banker, because
Because
the client would come to me and say,
cares.
I need this. So I'd be like, right, okay, well, let's sort that out. And then I'd go to like the credit officer would be like, well, no, you need to charge them 7%. I'm like, well, no, let's charge them for what it should be, and do it properly. And yeah, so like the whole thing. I just started losing interest in the whole lot, and then I think I dallied with like I sort of thought about becoming a teacher and all that sort of stuff. And then basically we just decided to swap, like we'd said, let's just give it a year, let's swap London for Northern Ireland, and if it doesn't work after a year, we'll go back. And then we moved over.
How long ago was that?
4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
I can't remember, 5 years ago, yeah. Came over, took a job over here just to literally get some money in, working for like a consultancy firm. And I just didn't, I was just doing it for the paycheck every month, and I've never really done that, and I didn't sit well with me at all. And I was not interested in, I did try to get interested in, the cloud computing stuff that they were doing, and
the what stuff?
Cloud computing. So don't get me wrong, it's great, it's brilliant, it's got really, really useful stuff. But yeah, it just wasn't for me, it wasn't my bag. And then I just thought, well, let's just give this a go. And I sort of pitched to Danielle. And funny enough, actually, I should bring this in one day. In fact, on the sort of anniversary of SupHub in like end of April, beginning of May, I'll bring in the book that is me it's my plan written down for what SupHub will be. But funnily enough, it's do you know what I was going to call it originally in the original plan?
SupHub
I was going to call it Titanic Sup, because I was like, it'd be great if I could get a spot up in Belfast, in the Titanic Quarter, all of that sort of stuff.
Titanic
and call it Titanic Sup, and I sort of thought that would be like funny, but you might sink and all of that sort of stuff. But like everyone, I think I told like a couple of mates whose opinion I respect, and they both just went, don't call it that. But and then so I'd like mapped out, and then Dan's was like, because we pulled that book out the other day, and I said to Dan, look, here's the blueprint, and we looked at it, and Dan's just laughed and said, like, how is that your original business plan? Like, you've not put anything in terms of money on there, like in terms of, like how much it might cost to set up, how much revenue you need to generate, and all of that sort of stuff. And I was like, well, that's kind of the whole point, is it wasn't about that. It was, but there's some cool things in there, right? So, one of the main, so there were like, I'd say 3 big goals. The first goal was to basically set it up, and I think I wanted to get 1,000 people to paddleboard. Like, that was one of my objectives. So we've done that. Another one of my objectives was to hold an APP event, and I think we're on the pathway for that. So hopefully when things start to open up again, we'll be able to tick that off the list. And the third was to train a future Olympic SUP champion, because I believe that within a reasonable amount of time, I think within 2 Olympics, like SUP surf will be, I think surfing's going to be in the Olympics in 2024, and then I think there's talk about SUP surfing going in it, but then I think at the same time, I think by that time they'll have got their ducks in a row, and hopefully like sprint SUP will be in the Olympics.
I hope they bring back some of the proper Olympic sports as well.
Yeah,
like the Greco-Roman wrestling and stuff. There's
wrestling's still in it, but just
Greco,
not Greco.
Yeah, Greco's gone. There's 1 or 2, and like judo's gone, but equestrian is fine.
Has judo gone?
Yeah, or speed walking.
Is that because a Welsh person won it?
In what?
Jade Jones. She's the like.
Oh no,
big time judo.
No.
Is she not?
No, she's bloody WTF taekwondo.
Oh really?
Or the other one, IBKFF. Who cares? It's taekwondo. No, she was taekwondo.
I thought it was judo.
And it's the wrong taekwondo as well.
Right.
It's the side on. It's bloody rubbish. Yeah, hate that. No, that'd be cool if it's in the Olympics.
Yeah. So those are like the big things which we'd like to do, and
So are you fluent in Russian then?
Pretty much. Like
What's paddleboard in Russian?
SUP. They do that with loads of things. Like computer is computer. But, like there's loads of sort of more modern words that they've just like stolen, and it's just with a Russian accent.
Sorry, this is the chair. This isn't my stomach after the Guinness. It's
like what I'm doing on a day to day is wildly different to, if I think back, 8 to whatever 14 years of what I would have been doing on a daily basis. It's crazy. Like, and if I were to, there's a couple of my old clients who I'm still in touch with, and like they know that I've sort of done this, and they're just like, you're an idiot, like they just think I've lost the plot. But it's a completely different lifestyle.
the crazy English guy.
Yeah, but no, I just love it. It's not like there's no, like I feel pretty cheesy and corny saying that, but it is, there's nothing I would enjoy more than just going down every day. I can't believe the Cheshire Cat went in after that. I can't believe.
It's so.
I'm so happy going down. So I'll complete the sentence.
Sorry.
Just head down to the beach and I'll change my wording.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's definitely. Were you challenging the whole innuendo title earlier?
No. No, I've been so good. I've been trying so hard.
So no, it's entirely different. Today was like busy, and to be honest, the preamble today was more stressful than the day. The day, like once it starts, we'd sort of prepared and had everything ready, and it was just kind of go with the flow, and whatever the producer wants us to do, we just do. But like, the sort of the prep for all of that and all that stuff that goes on in the background, just on the day to day with the SUP School anyway, like prepping the kit, I spent an hour and a bit yesterday just sorting the wetsuits and the boots and all of that sort of stuff so that they were as, fresh, clean, dry and everything as possible and sized appropriate. Like they'd sent me through approximate sizings for the people and all of that. So yeah, it's an entirely different lifestyle, and it's cool. It's there's still loads of things to iron out. Like this is new for here and for me in relative terms, and so like we chat a lot about what would be essentially operational management, but when you talk, it just kind of becomes I just find it easy to talk about and just fun, as opposed to if I was talking about operational management back in one of the banks, I'd just be whatever.
It's the good life, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's cool, like meeting different people. Like even today, right? So you look at that shoot, we met like the 4 sort of actors that were doing their thing. They were all super cool, super nice people.
Yeah.
You see like little traits of their personalities and everything coming out, and little nuggets of information. And then, but like even so, like one of my favourite characters today was, and I didn't catch the lady's name, but she was obviously just like chief support, and she'd just pop up every 2 minutes with sanitizer lotion. She had, she was carting the dry robes around for the actors. She was just everywhere and everything. I think at one point they went to wipe a blemish off the van or something like that, and the producer was like, "I need a wet wipe," and this woman just sort of appears from nowhere. "Here you go," and you're just like, "You're cool." And she was saying,
"Excuse me,"
she's worked on stuff all around the world and everything, and she just loves coming back to the island.
we watched something the other day. It was like Ben Fogel, New Lives in the Wild, or one of those kind of things, which me and Don always watch. And there was a guy that said, I'm trying to think which one it was. Doesn't matter, but he just went, a day of fishing is a good day, or a day of catching no fish is a good day. So even when it's like really tough, and like today, it was a lot of waiting round, didn't get in the water for hours, then a wetsuit and everything. But we were outside, close to the water, sun's out. Yeah.
What's not to love?
Yeah, it's a good day.
Cool. I think the people of Bangor quite liked it as well, because there was quite a crowd at one point, wasn't there? I was like, oh, is there a policeman about to turn up and go, what's going on here? Yeah. But
shooting a promo vid.
That's it. Come to Bangor. Visit Bangor. Visit Northern Ireland.
Visit those places. Preferably not on bank holidays, because I live here and I try to get the dog. So like do it between the hours of 11 so I can get out and leave by 3 o'clock.
That's probably not. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Sláinte.
Yeah, Sláinte. Sod St. Patrick.